In the quiet corner of the night there stands a shrine without a map, built from breaths that failed to reach prayers, from hopes that arrived too late. Its walls are made of unanswered questions, stacked carefully by tired hands, each brick a moment that once said maybe, now whispering never again. I walk barefoot toward it, my footsteps echoing like apologies, the ground remembering every fall I pretended not to feel. Candles flicker inside the shrine, lit by those who learned to smile while breaking, their flames trembling like hearts afraid of another promise. Here lie dreams with folded wings, resting beneath dust and silence, their colors faded but stubborn, refusing to disappear completely. I kneel before an altar of echoes, where my name sounds unfamiliar, as if spoken by someone who believed in me once. The air smells of old letters, ink blurred by tears that denied themselves, sentences unfinished, meanings abandoned halfway. Every stone here knows my story, even the parts one buried deep, even the nights I told the moon, I am fine, and meant, I am lost. The shrine listens without judgment. It has learned patience from pain. It knows some wounds don't scream. They simply stay. I place my broken dream gently down. It still trembles in my hands. Not dead, not alive, just tired of hoping. Around me, others have left their offerings. A crown of failed courage, a mirror that forgot how to reflect joy, a clock stopped at goodbye. There is a prayer carved into the floor, written in the language of sighs. It says, even broken things were once whole. The ceiling leaks forgotten stars, each drop a memory of wonder, falling softly on bowed heads that once looked up without fear. I close my eyes and listen closely. The shrine breathes with me, slow, careful, like it knows how fragile I am. In this sacred ruin, I am not asked to be strong, only honest, only present with my pain. The silence wraps around my shoulders, not cold, not warm, just understanding, just enough. I remember the dream I lost here, how bright it was, how loudly it laughed at doubt, how suddenly it went quiet. They say time heals everything, but the shrine knows better. Time doesn't heal. It teaches you how to carry. A bell rings somewhere inside me, calling me to mourn properly, to stop pretending loss is weakness, to stop running from grief. I bow my head, not in defeat, but in recognition of all I survived. The shrine does not promise miracles. It offers something truer, a place to rest your shattered hopes without being ashamed. As I rise, my dream feels lighter, not fixed, not restored, but finally acknowledged, finally allowed to exist as it is. I leave the shrine slowly, carrying fragments instead of ruins, knowing I can return anytime the world breaks me again. Behind me, the candles continue to burn, patient witnesses of human longing, guarding the sacred truth that even shattered dreams were once brave. And somewhere between the cracks, a quiet seed waits, learning from the broken stones how to grow differently. Morning never fully reaches this place. It arrives softly, like a question, afraid of waking the sorrow sleeping on the stone floor. The shrine remembers every visitor, even those who came in silence, even those who left nothing but a tear pressed into dust. Here, grief has many languages, some spoken aloud, some swallowed so deeply they echo in the ribs. I touch the walls again. They are warmer now, as if pain itself has learned how to comfort pain. Names are carved everywhere, some clear, some fading, some scratched in anger, some written with shaking love. Each name once belonged to a dreamer who trusted the sky, who believed effort was enough, who thought endings were optional. The shrine does not laugh at innocence. It cradles it gently, like a fragile relic from a kinder version of the world. I sit beside a broken window, light slips through its cracks, proving even damage can be a doorway. Outside, life continues loudly, unaware of this sacred wreckage, unaware of how many hearts kneel quietly instead of shouting. Inside, time moves differently. Minutes feel like memories, hours feel like confessions, years feel like a single breath. I hear my past self speaking here, asking questions without answers, promising forever too easily, believing pain was temporary. The shrine answers without words. It shows me scars instead, teaching me survival is its own kind of victory. I light another candle, not for what I lost, but for what loss taught me about depth and endurance. The flame bends but does not break. I watch it carefully, learning how softness can still resist darkness. There are footsteps behind me, not someone new, but an older version of me, finally catching up. We sit together in silence. No blame, no regret, just shared understanding between who I was and who I am. The shrine holds us both, past and present stitched by pain, future waiting quietly, not demanding hope, only space. I realize now, this is not a grave, it is a witness, it remembers so I don't have to drown. Dreams don't die here. They transform into lessons, into quieter desires, into strength with softer edges. As I stand once more, the shrine does not cling to me. It releases me kindly, trusting I will return wiser. I step away carrying humility, carrying patience, carrying the sacred truth that brokenness is not the end. Behind me, the shrine remains, waiting for the next weary soul. Its doors always open, its silence always listening. And somewhere within my chest, among the cracks and memories, a new dream stirs. Careful, slower, but alive, the path away from the shrine curves gently, as if it knows straight lines hurt too much, as if it learned mercy from watching so many leave in pieces. Each step carries a whisper, not of warning, but of remembrance. You were here, and you endured. The wind follows me quietly. It does not ask questions. It only brushes my face like an old friend who understands. Behind closed eyes, the shrine still glows, not bright, not loud, but steady as a heartbeat refusing to quit. I think of the dreams stacked inside, layer upon layer of courage, some broken by cruelty, some by time, some by loving too deeply. None of them were foolish. The shrine taught me that hope is never foolish, only the world is sometimes unkind. I remember the first dream I lost, how young it was, how it trusted everyone, how it fell without knowing how to land. I remember the second, stronger, louder, shattered by waiting too long for someone who never arrived. Each loss shaped me, chiseled silence into my voice, depth into my eyes, gravity into my words. The shrine keeps count so I don't have to. Some nights, I return in thought, standing again before the altar, placing down the weight of pretending, letting the quiet hold me. The candles never accuse. They flicker like they understand doubt, like they've leaned in storms and still chosen to burn. There is a corner of the shrine where tears are considered sacred, where breaking down is not a failure but a ritual. I learned there that strength is not loud survival, it is the soft decision to wake up again. The shrine never asked me to rebuild what collapsed beyond repair. It only asked me to carry forward what remained true. Some dreams return differently, not as fire, but as warmth, not as urgency, but as direction. I walk now with measured hope, careful but not closed, guarded but not empty, scarred but still breathing belief. When the world cracks me again, and it will, I know where to go with the pieces. There will always be a shrine for shattered dreams, standing quietly inside the heart, patient, forgiving, eternal. It does not promise endings, it promises understanding, and sometimes that is the holiest thing of all. And so I move forward, not chasing the old dreams, not mourning them endlessly, but honoring them with how I live. Because once I dreamed bravely, once I believed deeply, once I loved without armor. And that, even broken, is still sacred. Night returns like a familiar ache. Not sudden, not cruel, just inevitable, like memory finding its way home. Stars hover above the shrine, not shining brightly, but watching carefully, as if afraid to disturb the sorrow below. I realize the shrine never closes, even when forgotten, even when ignored. It breathes patiently beneath the noise of life. Somewhere inside, old prayers rearrange themselves, learning new meanings, finding softer ways to survive. The floor remembers knees pressed in defeat, foreheads resting against stone, hands trembling with questions no God ever answered directly. Yet still people came. Still they knelt, Faith is strange like that. It persists even after disappointment. The shrine is built from persistence, from the stubborn refusal to let pain erase humanity, to let loss make us cruel. I hear laughter echo faintly inside, not mockery, but memory. Proof joy once lived here too. Every shattered dream leaves behind a shadow of joy, and shadows only exist where light once stood. I sit again in the center, heart open, defenses lowered, allowing myself to grieve honestly, without editing the truth. There is relief in naming the loss, in admitting the dream mattered, in saying aloud, "Yes, this broke me." The shrine nods in silence. It has heard this confession before, thousands of times, each one holy in its own way. Somewhere, a crack widens not to destroy, but to release. Pain cannot heal while imprisoned. I breathe slower now, my chest no longer fighting itself, my thoughts no longer racing, my grief finally seen. Dreams whisper as I pass them, not asking to be revived, only remembered with kindness instead of shame. I promise them that. I promise to stop calling them failures, to stop blaming myself for hoping, to stop shrinking my heart to fit the world's cruelty. The shrine does not demand vows, but it accepts them quietly, like it knows promises here are made with caution and truth. When I stand, I am not lighter, but I am steadier, and sometimes that is better. The exit glows faintly, not with certainty, but with permission, permission to continue imperfectly. As I leave once more, the shrine remains unchanged, because it was never meant to heal me, only to remind me I am human. And somewhere beyond its walls, life waits, unaware, relentless, beautiful, cruel, ready to be faced again. I walk toward it slowly, carrying my fractures like constellations, learning that even broken patterns can guide the lost. The shrine fades behind me, but it does not disappear. It settles deeper inside, becoming part of my survival. For every shattered dream becomes a stone in the shrine, and every stone proves I once dared to believe. And belief, even when broken, is never wasted. Dawn hesitates at the horizon, as if unsure whether it is welcome, as if it knows the night here has earned the right to linger. I watch light touch the ruins gently, not fixing a single crack, only revealing them honestly, teaching me that truth itself can be kind. The shrine wears mourning like a scar, visible, undeniable, yet no longer bleeding, just existing without apology. Birds pass overhead without stopping. They do not judge the broken stones. They only trust the air and keep moving forward. I envy them briefly, then understand they too have fallen before learning flight. They too have known fear. The shrine hums quietly now, a low song made of endurance, sung by walls that did not collapse despite carrying so much sorrow. I run my fingers over a crack. It fits my hand perfectly, as if my pain once came here first and shaped the stone for me. Nothing here rushes me. Healing is not demanded. Leaving is not forced. Staying is not weakness. I realize the shrine never belonged to the dreams themselves, but to the dreamers, those brave enough to imagine more. Dreams were only visitors. We are the keepers. Somewhere inside the ruins, a child's hope still echoes, soft, stubborn, refusing to be silenced completely. I listen carefully, not to revive it recklessly, but to protect it better this time, to let it grow without cruelty. The shrine approves with silence, its favorite language, the one that never betrays, never exaggerates, never lies. I gather the smallest fragments now, not to rebuild the old dream, but to craft a new understanding from its remains. This piece is courage. That one is patience. Another is compassion I never would have learned otherwise. Loss rearranged me, but it did not erase me, and the shrine stands as proof that rearranged is not ruined. I take one last look before leaving, the altar glowing faintly, the candles steady, the memories at rest. I whisper a thank you, not for the pain, but for the place that held it when I could not. Outside, the world feels louder, sharper, more demanding, but I carry quiet inside me now. When disappointment comes again, and it will, I know where to kneel, where to breathe, where to remember who I am. The shrine does not follow me. It trusts me with what it taught. It believes I will survive without needing to return too often. Yet it will always be there, between heartbeat and breath, between hope and caution, between dreaming and despair. A sacred ruin, a witness of courage, a home for what broke but refused to turn bitter. And as I walk forward, I understand at last. A shattered dream is not the end of faith. It is the beginning of a wiser one.